Jai Hind everyone, this is Pankaj Kumar. Today we are going to discuss blood pressure. The pressure which is sensed by arteries is called blood pressure. It is of two types, hypertension and hypotension. Hypertension means when the blood pressure increases and hypotension means when the blood pressure decreases. So in this lecture we will discuss that how that blood paper blood pressures is is received by the arteries and how they give the signal to the brain and how that regulate. So to in short we can say that we are going to discuss the blood pressure regulations. The normal range of the blood pressure is 120 by 80. What is that 120? It is measured in the millimeter of mercury. Both are measured in the millimeter of mercury. So here 120 it is saying that systolic pressure, and systolic pressure means when the ventricles are contract, ventricle contract, and then the blood passes into the arteries. Blood passes in arteries, and the pressure at that time, the pressure in the artery is called systolic pressure, and the that 80 is diastolic pressure. Diastolic pressure means pressure in arteries in between two beats, two heartbeat pressure when the ventricles, or we can say heart relax. When the heart, especially ventricles, when relax, then the pressure in the artery is called pressure in artery. It's called diastolic pressure. So this is diastolic pressure, and 120 is systolic pressure. This is the normal range for the blood pressure. What will be happen if the systolic pressure means that when the ventricle contracts and the pressure rises in the arteries, it will more than the 120 millimeter of mercury, then that's dangerous for our health. Not exactly dangerous, but it we can go into the hypertension condition. So if it will increase more than 180, then we can say that is really very dangerous for our health. So how we sense the how our body sense the hypertension in our heart. So whenever the pressure will increase, then there are some receptors present in the heart, specifically in the left common carotid artery and the aortic sinus. Then these baroreceptors receive the pressures, and then they release the signal. They passes the signal via the vagus nerve and the glossopharyngeal nerve. That is the ninth nerve. Glossopharyngeal nerve is the ninth nerve, and the vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve. Then these nerves innervate into the medulla of the brain. In medulla, we having the cardiac accelerator system and the cardiac inhibitor and the vasomotor center. So here I have not mentioned the vasomotor center, but I mentioned the cardiac accelerator. Then what happen? What will be happen if the hypertension is uh, in case of hypertension? So these cardiac inhibitor is started, and they release the signaling to the different organs, and inhibit this they directly inhibit the sympathetic nervous system, and thereby they inhibit adrenaline, and thereby our blood vessels heart and the brain sorry blood vessels at heart will not take the calcium ions in the cells, and thereby that cell will be in relaxed state, and the blood blood vessels will be dilated. And in case of the hypotension, what it will be do the same. If the hypotension will be occur, then the blood volume will decreases. That signaling is received by the baroreceptor again, and that is present left common carotid artery and the aortic sinus. Then this baroreceptors again gives the signaling to the medulla via vagus nerve and the glossopharyngeal nerve. From there, that cardiac cardiac accelerator will gives the signaling that sympathetic nervous system will stimulated. This gives the signal by sympathetic nervous system, and this sympathetic nervous system release this sympathetic nervous system are adrenergic in nature, and thereby they release noradrenaline, and that noradrenaline binds to the SO nodes and AV node, and they increase the uptake of the calcium in that cell, and that calcium causes the contraction of the heart muscles. And again, the same it will be happen to the blood vessels. The noradrenaline bind to the blood vessels cells, epithelial cells, and thereby they contract the blood vessels, and the pressure will again increase. In the same meantime, that sympathetic nervous systems go and innervate to the adrenal medulla, where it releases adrenaline and noradrenaline. Again, that noradrenaline will increase the blood pressure via acting on the SA node and AV node and blood vessels. This is the this is the short pathway, or we can say that's the fast response. The delayed response is given by the kidney because of the hypotension. As we know, hypotension is occurring, and if the hypotension will occur, then GFR glomerular filtration rate will also decrease. That's why decrease of the GFR causes release of renin from the release of renin from JG cell. Where it is present, JG cells are present in afferent arteriole in glomerulus. Then JG cell release the renin, and that renin convert tensinogen into angiotensin 1. This angiotensinogen is coming from the liver, and that angiotensinogen converted into angiotensin 1, and then angiotensin 1 is converted by angiotensin converting enzyme into angiotensin 2. This angiotensin converting enzyme coming from the lungs. It's actually present all over the most of the our organ, but specifically we are focusing that it's majorly produced by the lungs. So angiotensin 1 is converted into angiotensin 1 converted into angiotensin 2, then it binds to the blood vessels and make it contraction, allow them to contract more, and thereby the blood pressure will again increases. So this is how we uh, see that blood pressures blood pressure regulated. In case of hypotension blood pressure that it is decreases than 80. Diastolic pressure decreases less than 80. 80 है ना, that causes the hypotension. So I hope so this make you sense. If you having any doubt, then please ask in comment, or if you have any suggestion, please do comment. Thanks for watching.